In under 24 hours, Digital Circus Episode 8 is releasing. And let's be honest, none of us are ready for this. But there is so much stuff gonna happen in Episode 8, so we're gonna go over everything we know about Episode 8, and at the end, I'm gonna try to figure out how this episode will most likely play out, thanks to the teasers and just everything else, the trailer, everything we have. So let's go. This is about to be crazy. Oh my god, we are not ready. The only ones abstracted tomorrow is gonna be us, guys. Let's be honest. So, Gooseworx described this episode in one word, twice. First, she described it as "oh." And then she described it as fun, and even just straight up said that she thinks this episode is fun. This episode is also apparently her favorite out of all of them. Which I'm gonna be honest, even though it's her favorite, that sounds like a bad sign, because if Gooseworx is proud of this work, then you probably know it's gonna be something crazy. The description for episode 8 is also just says, oh, so, yeah, something definitely bad is gonna happen. Well, we kind of already knew that, but, We also have 2 random lines from this episode, one of them being half of a random line, which is zippity bop. And there's a scene in the trailer where Pomni goes to say something, obviously to Kane, and then she gets her mouth zipped shut, just like he did to Zooble in episode 5. So it's clear that Kane's gonna say this part, right here, Pomni's gonna sit up to, interrupt him, and he's gonna zip her mouth and go zippity bop or something. So, yeah. Now, this line isn't really all that interesting, but the other line is... Because the other random line from episode 8 is, it's you. Now, before the trailer dropped, we kind of didn't exactly know, why this would be said. At first, we thought, Gooseworx was just trying to, troll us, it's a serious line, but it might not be said, it might mean nothing. But in the trailer, we obviously see Queenie walking up to Kinger, and we see what looks like the shadows of Ribbit and presumably Cosmo. So yeah, this line will definitely be said by Kinger or Jax, when they see their, abstracted friend and wife or whatever. But something interesting, that shadow, that obviously, looked like Ribbit's, head and eyes, right? But, a fan reposted this image, apparently, of Gooseworx answering someone. Basically, a fan asked, which, character is Ribbit, most similar to, and Gooseworx said that she's not quite like everyone else. And then the fan that I reposted the image said, we get to see what she's like. I'm having a tongue twister. The fan that reposted the image said, we get to see what she was like tomorrow, because, she's obviously going to be in the episode tomorrow. But then Gooseworx responded to them saying, I don't know how to tell you this. What? Now, there's 3 things that I think's going on here. Or actually, technically 4. 1, apparently nobody can find this, actual, blue, because it was on Blue Sky. No one can find, the actual conversation. So, 1, the screenshot is fake. 2, it's real, and Gooseworx is actually telling the truth. She's not going to be in episode 8. 3, she is going to be in episode 8, but, maybe, as an NPC. People think, obviously the cast is mad at Kane, so he's going to prove that he can be, actually mean to them by making them, relive memories and stuff, so maybe Jax will... Or, so they're gonna, he's gonna try to make Jax relive Ribbit's abstraction with, a Ribbit NPC. So, it won't be, it'll be, the NPC is gonna be, being shown, as Ribbit, but it's not actually her, it's just an NPC. Or 4, Gooseworx is trolling, and she's 100% gonna be in episode 8 in some kind of flashback. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. We're gonna find out in 24 hours. Oh god, this is scary. So, we know the possible length of episode 8, because Gooseworx made a post saying that episode 8 is longer, not longer. Episode 8 is going to be shorter than episode 6 and 7. Don't say it. And then she made a post saying that episode 9 is twice the length of episode 8. So, according to my calculations, if episode 6 and 7 were around 33 minutes, and then episode 9 is going to be twice the length of episode 8, and everyone's thinking that episode 9 will be an hour or 57 minutes and 57 seconds. So say episode 9 is about an hour long, then, you then double of an hour, 30, you got 30 minutes, and then double that would be an hour. So, episode 8 is presumably going to be about 30 minutes, which, yeah, that's still a long time. We now know the title and the thumbnail for episode 8. The title is, Well, it's not really a title. It just looks like somebody slammed their head on the keyboard and got out a bunch of letters, which is presumably how they made this title. And, yeah, I think the title is, like, showing how Kane, starting to be crazy again because, now the cast is mad at him. So that's basically what Kane's thinking. He's just slamming his head on a keyboard. And then the thumbnail is Kane, like, sitting in his office just thinking. He's very sad. And Pommy and King are presumably walking up to him or spying on him or doing something. But Pommy and King are clearly going to play a big role in this episode because there's a lot of scenes in the trailer of both of them, like, with some very shocked expressions on their face. We finally got the full image, for the past 2 weeks, ever since the trailer dropped, they've been releasing, like, these little images of the characters, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, it's going to line up to one big image, and, well, it has, like, right here, Kane's in the middle, he's holding Zubul, and Gangle, maybe, or no, he's, like, resting on his arm. Anyway, then Pondy's over there looking up at all the bubbles, Jax is sad, Ragatha's looking in the room with an abstracted monster, and there's a bunch of abstraction eyes. Oh, and Kinger's over there, too. Now, right below Kinger is the CNA computer. Now, come on, this is basically screaming at us that Kinger, had some involvement in the circus. Isn't it clear? Yeah, sure, obviously all the stuff Abel said in episode 7 was just part of the adventure and stuff, and saying that he was a programmer of it, that was just part of the adventure, but come on, I feel like Kane made Abel say all that stuff because he kind of knows that Kinger's probably a developer. So we're definitely going to find out something, especially if Kinger's wife is going to be in this episode, either in a flashback or, as an NPC, or just returning fully. Yeah, we're definitely finding out something. Now, what was concerning a lot of people is how Ragatha's over there, looking inside a room with an abstracted monster. A lot of people thought that meant that Ragatha's gonna abstract. No, I'm pretty sure, what it's saying, look, there's 5 doors, see? So I think what they're trying to say, since Ragatha's opening that one door with an abstracted monster, that probably means that, we're gonna explore 5 abstracted characters in this episode. And we're probably well, why is there, a mannequin X'd out? Mannequins can't abstract, they're just, placeholders, right? Well, obviously, if they put an actual face of an abstracted character, that would be too much information. So, presumably, it's going to be the characters that are going to be explored. Queenie, Kaufmo, Ribbit, Scratch, the first one that abstracted. And I don't know who the 5th one could be. Possibly, I guess, a character we don't know the name of yet, or something. Or maybe we're just analyzing this too much, but yeah, we're finding out in 24 hours. Also, a lot of people started to think that Bubble might be a virus because in the trailer there's a bunch of him, and then in this image there's a bunch of them. There's a lot of scenes, there's the one scene in the trailer where Kane turns around and Bubble's menacingly staring at him. And also in the 90s there used to be a virus apparently called the Bubble Boy virus or something. So yeah, Bubble might be the actual villain. Well, Kane's obviously not a villain. He just wants to help people out, but he doesn't know how to because he doesn't understand human emotions. So the real villain here might be Bubble. Once again, we'll find out in 24 hours. Alright, now finally, we're going to try to go over with all the scenes we have in the trailer. I'm going to try to go over, presumably, what is going to happen in episode 8. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen. There's presumably 3 different storylines that could happen. But I'm going to try to piece it together as much as we can because it'll be, fun to come and look back at this after the episode releases to see if I got anything right. But yeah, here we go. Oh my gosh, my brain's gonna be so cooked after doing this. Alright, now I think there's 2 ways that this episode can start. So one, it'll either start, and since this is supposed to be a direct sequel, remember, this episode was supposed to be be 2 parts. This was gonna be in episode 7. It was gonna be why is my brain just spewing out right? I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't. This episode was going to be split into 2 parts, right? It was going to, be episode 7, and then episode 8 was going to take place in the same episode, right? So, and since this is taking place literally, minutes after episode 7, presumably, it could either start off with this, where, the cast is getting sent back to the circus and they're falling from the sky. Or it could start like this, where they're all just sitting around, on the couches, just trying to think about life, because, they just thought they were going to escape, But either way, if it starts with them falling, they're going to fall, to the ground and then go sit down by the couches, or it'll just straight up start with them sitting on the couches. But yeah, either way, they're definitely ending up in the couches somewhere in the beginning. Then, while they're talking about, whatever, Kane's going to pop in, like he does. And before he pops in, We're gonna see him sitting in his office, probably venting out to Bubble, because he thinks he's trying to figure out like, does the cast actually hate him or do they like his adventures and stuff? And then that's when we're gonna see the circus start to glitch because he's gonna start to kind of lose it a little bit, like he did in episode 3 when the circus started to glitch. And then the cast will notice it over at their end too. Everything will start to become glitchy. Kane's probably then going to start screwing around in his office, trying to make himself feel better, but it's not going to work, and he's going to realize that he's going to come up with some kind of plan, and then that's when he's going to burst in where the cast is. And then obviously the cast might get, not really an argument, but kind of a back and forth with him, as seen here, because he's going to end up zipping Pomni's mouth, probably because she was about to start yelling at him or calling him out. And then that's when he's going to realize that the cast doesn't trust him anymore. They know that he can, control their minds and stuff, and they're obviously angry at him, so he's gonna want to prove that, he's not evil, but he can be evil, if they think he is. And then, if the falling from the sky scene isn't in the beginning, it might be here. He's gonna maybe glitch or something, and they're gonna get sent up in the sky. Like in video games, when they glitch, you'll get just teleported to random places. So they might glitch up into the sky and start falling down. And then here, they're obviously all laying on the floor, and a portal appears behind them, which obviously a portal appears when it's time to go on an adventure. So a lot of people think how they might not be going on an adventure, and this episode is going to take place in flashbacks and stuff. But why else would there be a portal here? So I think he's going to send them on some past flashback adventures or something, and then make them relive their traumas to show that he can be evil, but he's not. But he's just showing them that he can basically do whatever he wants, but that's not what his intent is. So then, Kinger will get sent back to maybe the day Queenie abstracted, or the day some day with Queenie in it, because come on, that's obviously Queenie. Gooseworx can't say that Queenie's not in this episode, because then who's that? Who's that? That's definitely Queenie. Queenie's 100% appearing. Ribbit, now it's kind of iffy because what Gooseworx apparently said, if that tweet is real or not. But we'll just see. But yeah, this is definitely Kinger getting sent to some adventure with Queenie in the past. Ragatha's most likely going to get sent to the adventure, maybe where it was her first day. As we can see, because she's looking down at her hands here, which only seems like something she would do when she first entered. And then this scene or shot, whatever, where she's looking down at Kinger confused, and she's up on the stage. So yeah, or maybe this will be in Kinger's well, no, probably not, because he looks like he doesn't recognize her either. So this is probably Ragatha's first day here, either a flashback or she gets sent to it. I don't know. There's so much stuff that could happen in this episode. Jax will most likely get sent back, or we'll see a flashback to his first day, because once again, he's also looking down at his hand, which just seems like only something you do when first entering. Or he's going through one of those episodes again, when he pushed Pomni off of him when she went to hug him, and then he was looking down at his hand. So it could be one of those kind of situations. And if that's maybe not a flashback scene, or maybe Jax will get sent back to 2 flashback, because here he's obviously holding the ice coffee, tea, whatever that is, that he was holding in the photo with Kaufmo and Ribbit, which was presumably the last adventure he went on Ribbit before she abstracted. And in the corner, once again, that's obviously Ribbit. I don't know what Gooseworx is talking about, saying, I don't know how to tell you this. That's 100% Ribbit. She's there. That's her shadow, and that's presumably Kaufmo's too. But yeah, how else would Jax, if this episode, if we're not finding anything out about Ribbit in this episode, why would Jax be holding, the iced coffee thing that he's holding in that last photo with him? That wouldn't make any sense. How would he get a hold of that? It has to be a flashback or an adventure that takes place in the past or something. Then we see Zooble running from something, and it's kind of hard to tell where she is. She just looks like in a black void. Perhaps the cellar, maybe? I don't know. But this might be Zooble's first day, where maybe she was, experiencing what Pomni did with the hallucinations, where she saw the exit and she was running through them. So maybe this is Zooble's first day, and she's running through a bunch of exits that, lead nowhere. Well, they lead to the void or something. So this might be Zooble's first day. Here we see a car crashing, which, as we know, Jax had a flashback to driving in a car or something. And a lot of people think that what happened to Jax before he entered the circus is he presumably hit someone or got into an accident with this car and then drove to the forest and ended up in some abandoned building, and he put the headset on and ended up in the circus. And that looks like Jax's leg or arm or something over there. So yeah, Jax right next to a car crashing. Maybe this is Kane trying to make him relive his trauma if Kane somehow knows about that. We're definitely finding out more about CNA because this is the first time in the trailer where the CNA building were actually shown. So why would they show them if they just had no point? It was just going to be Kane looking at them again, and it didn't mean anything. This might be Kane finding out that Bubble's a virus or something. It's why is Bubble acting so menacing in this trailer? Then we see Kane, which presumably looks like the cellar, because the cellar's just the big black void and it has a little light shining down. So this could be Kane in the cellar. And then he says the line that we all know none of us wanted to hear. Let's get this show on the road! This scene also kind of matches up with the short we got a few days before the trailer where Kane snaps his fingers. And once again, he looks like he's in a black void with a light shining down, which obviously looks like the cellar. This is definitely the same place, right? Come on, he's in the same place. So, remember, Kane only snaps when he's about to get rid of someone, right? He snapped when he went to take Kaufmo into the cellar. He snapped when he got rid of Gummy Goo. So what if he can also snap to bring back the abstracted characters? So, say he is in the cellar here. What if he's snapping and he's saying, let's get the show on the road. He's about to bring back the abstracted characters to prove that, he actually has a lot more power that he doesn't use for evil. But he can if he wanted to. So, oh my gosh, this video 16 minutes. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think episode 8 is going to be. It's going to start with the cast just chilling on the couch. Kane's going to be in his office freaking out and glitching out and stuff. And then he's going to realize that he needs to prove to the circus members that he can be evil, but he doesn't use any evil stuff. So he's going to either make them relive their worst memories, like the day they got there, or the day, their friends abstracted, like Jax or King, or the day Queenie abstracted. Or he's just going to straight up bring back the abstracted characters to show how much power he really has that he doesn't use. So, yeah, oh my gosh. We're gonna find out everything. We're gonna see if I'm right, which I'm probably not. I'm probably, completely off, but hey, we'll just have to wait and see till tomorrow. So, yeah, episode 8 comes out in, 22 hours. We better get a good night's sleep tonight, because the only ones abstracted tomorrow is us, let's face it. So, yeah, I'll see everyone in the next video. Yeah, as always, goodbye. Come on, you know an episode's gonna be crazy with a title like "Had Just Such a Fella."